already over my time, and that was book 1. Book 2, Closing of the American Mind by Allan Bloom. This one's deep. This one's deep. This will take you many, many years and many, many reads. I still read it. I get new gems every time. University of Chicago, philosopher, first rate, Platonist, atheist, Jewish. You might say, Dave, what are they doing over at Liberty? You're pushing this Allan Bloom, atheist guy. Sometimes it's good to read a very intelligent people who lay out smart arguments over time, which is what he does. So he summarizes the world's smartest and only smart liberal, who was Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Anybody heard of this guy? So Rousseau wrote a book called The Emile about education. And here's the liberal project, so you can understand it in a nutshell from Bloom's standpoint. You train an Emile from day 1. The parents nurture that kid, they love the kid. You put them in a certain environment for the first year. Second year, you set up a whole nother regimen. Third year, you arrange who's going to teach them, what books, what inputs they're going to get, no iPhones, etc. You start to get the thing, you're lining up their education, their life, how much hardness they see at a young age. That's what the liberal project was. So Rousseau wanted to go out and find the noble savage, right? Because we Americans we're the bad guys. Right, so if we explore the world and go out to all the tribes, we're going to find the noble savage, this person that's primitive and that has basic moral goodness. We sent anthropologists all over the place. University of Chicago was preeminent. Guess what they found when they went on around the world? They're way worse. They had barbarians compared to the United States of America. Right? This is the greatest nation on earth because we used to follow God. And that's what we need to get our head back on straight. That's what made us great. And as soon as you start veering away from that, you can just see the deterioration of the country. And that doesn't mean that people say, well, I don't like religion. Why not? Because they're a bunch of hypocrites. No kid, that's what Jesus said. The religious people are a bunch of hypocrites. Well, you know, did you not read the book? Right? I mean, just read the book. It's really good. You'll learn something about yourself at a deep, deep level. All right, so Bloom, Rousseau, should I just keep it right there? Bloom's indictment. He wrote the greatest, most scathing indictment of higher education ever. He name-dropped every heavy-duty name in the Western canon. The New York Times gave him rave reviews for a year or so, until they read it again and figured out what he was saying. And Bloom was very conservative and very smart. He was laying out exactly the philosophical roots for what has happened to this country today, kind of along the lines of the open society. All right, now on another level, I just listened to some podcast the other day. And it's very interesting that the intermediate period between World War I and World War II, right? So we all got Hitler's evil and all this kind of stuff. But World War II and the causes of that in the period from World War I to World War II was very interesting. And Bolshevism was alive in Germany, hardcore, right? And there were way more communists there than the historical record, anything you hear on the news, whatever says, right? It's like in our own country. We're in denial about this for some reason, because these globalist forces are so powerful. So the Nazi Party, the name was, Hitler's party was what? The National Socialist Party, right? The new evidence shows Hitler came out of the socialist ranks and quoted the socialists and quoted Marx often. Right? And he wanted the power of the National Socialist science, right? He wanted to say, well, I'm doing scientific and I got all these smart PhDs or whatever. And so what happened in that intermediate period between World War I and World War II? Human beings, it doesn't matter where you are on this planet, God created us to be a moral people. And in that period, the communists, what communists do is they crush your spirit. Right? So not only were the Germans crushed economically, industrially, whatever, but they were not given anything. Right? They were not given any meaning, any purpose. The communists were coming in strong, and these guys draw some parallels to what's going on in the United States right now. The American people are a moral people, and if you take away that, power That's what makes us human, is the soul. Which leads me to book number 3, Return of the Strong Gods. This is the one I'd get and read. Here's your read, by Reno, R-E-N-O. Return of the Strong Gods. He's a Catholic scholar. He was the editor of First Things. That's a highbrow thing. He gives a review. I've never read anything like it. He just made me put everything back. You kind of know most of the facts, but he makes you put them all through another set of lenses. So he says, okay, so World War II, evil, Hitler, Nazi, the death camps, the Holocaust, never again, right? Now, here comes the globalist leftist tentacles. What caused that? What caused this German craziness, right? So, fascism, nationalism, right? So no more fascism, fine, good. Nationalism, it depends how you define it. No more German idealism, no more Plato, right? Whose realm of forms, the ascent of the soul toward the good. No more Christianity, no more metaphysical terms at all, right? So what's going on here? Anybody, what's that meeting over there with Soros and all those European people? Davos. Do you all watch Davos? What do they say we should be eating in a few years? Is that a joke? No. How should your life, should you aspire to be a great human being following God? Or should you just mind your manners and be a peon and eat your breadcrumbs with your wife at night and be happy and content that you have a house after all?
You'll have nothing.
Right? And that was the socialist promise. Well, back when people were in utter poverty, if you promised them one nice thing in the day and one nice thing at night, that was fine. And if you're in total poverty, the communist socialist promise sounded like, okay, we'll take it. That's what they're still promising, and there's nothing that comes at the end. There's never a happy ending with communism. It's always destruction. They want to destroy this country, and they're doing a good job of it. So this Return of the Strong Gods just tracks this thought that no more high ideals, and in essence, what they've done is they've taken away all of the loves, right? Because love is an idea, it's God, right? It's the great command. What are the 2 great commands? Love God, love with all your heart, mind, and soul, love your neighbor as yourself. So if you say, we're going to strip you of everything you love, what is that? Love of God, love of country that you would call nationalism, if it's properly conceived under God, love of truth, right? Love of truth is what makes us all want to be learners, because that brings you closer to God. The logos, Jesus, right? The word, logos, the word means thinking and speaking. Jesus is the word, right? And it's like the church now has lost track of the fact that we need to have an intellect and go after this kind of thing, right? We should be in charge of it. And finally, the last love is the love of family. Let's look at the far left right now. This is not Democrats. This is the neo-Marxist left. Are any of those 4 loves allowed in this country? Love of God? No. Love of country? No. Love of truth? No. Love of family? No. All right, so you know it. If that's what's coming at us, that's why I wanted to give a talk. That's the most serious thing. Right? I could have done my economic charts. Mike told me, no, you can't do your economic charts. And I love doing my economic charts. But this is the serious business that links it all together.